Blog Talk Radio.
People tell me every day, love is gonna come out. Searching for clues that I hope to find. Want something that's gonna last. I wanna live and forget the past. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me wonder where the wind will go. You got a clue to let me know. Don't hold back now. Give me a sign. Tell me something really good. Like live your dreams, you know you should. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me Everything changes in its own way. I'm gonna look back at all of them someday, and I'm gonna even though I know the change will do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me
Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona with Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio and freeconferencing.com and now Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships with human value. Aloha, welcome to tonight's Andrew Aloha Live. Tonight we're talking with Melissa Risdon in Your Love of Self, all the way out of California. Aloha, Melissa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Keeping busy, of course. It's a bit nippy, but it's starting to warm up here in Flagstaff and also Phoenix, the Phoenix area. So it's starting to get into the 90s in Phoenix, and in Flagstaff it's up in the 70s. Actually, I think it was like in the 80s today in Flagstaff, which I think was one of the warmer days we've had for a year so far. So yeah, I just want to let you know, Melissa Risdon is an international motivational speaker and an intuitive transformational pattern buster. Her show Radiant Fan Radio grew to over 150,000 iTunes subscribers, with her purpose being to pull your heart out of the mess and show you the truth. Known as the champion to feminine leaders, Melissa Risdon helps women dare to live the life of their dreams. She's the owner of Permission to Receive and is on a mission to help heart-centered entrepreneurs live a life of purpose. Risdon's heart of gold and passion is felt by her listeners and clients. Risdon had a successful career in corporate America before retiring and following her internal guidance and passion. Risdon has had to learn how to trust herself and her intuition. She now allows herself to receive all the blessings that come her way. And if you want more on that, or more on Melissa, you can go to www.melissarisdon.com risdon.com, and that's risdon.com. In the meantime, I do want to give a big aloha to all of our underwriters that help make this show happen from week to week, month to month, year to year, beginning with Maha Bikini Lorraine at www.mahadikini.com. Maha Bikini Lorraine's life has been a personal journey exploring sexuality and spirituality for over 20 years. She's a certified tantric counselor and tantric healer and a certified mind sound teacher. Maha Bikini Lorraine is also a graduate of Margot Anand's year-long Sky Dance and Tantra Facilitator Training Program and is a current member of the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists Club, as well as a charter member of the Association of Sexual Energy Professionals. She regularly attends trainings and conferences to keep current with the latest research and information on sexual education. And then we have the 90-Day Ascension Journey at www.90dayascensionjourney.com. When you sign up for the 90-Day Ascension Journey, you will be facilitated with defining and redefining your soul through life purpose. You will be assisted with finding out what Ascension means to you. On this journey, you will be provided with tools, techniques, and assistance to empower you to connect and reconnect with yourself and your emotions and feelings in your mind, body, and spirit. Through a universal soul-centered process, you will be going through a lifelong transformation that will allow you to move forward with your endeavors and never look back if you dare. And just to let you guys know, I just put together and wrote the book version for this. So if you don't want to do the whole journey, the 12-week program, then you can go to www.spiritualimageproductions.com. On the front page there's a link for the page for the book. You can go there, check it out, and you can either order it online there on the website or on Amazon.com, and also the Kindle versions out there as well, if you want to check it out. And, we also have the MUFON, the 2016 MUFON Symposium at www.mufonsymposium.com. The 2016 MUFON Symposium, UFOs from our oceans to outer space, is the 47th annual International UFO Symposium sponsored by MUFON. This year's event features outstanding UFO researchers and paranormal investigators from all over the world sharing their insights on UFOs, where they're from, what they are, and what this means for mankind. Join Andrew Aloha, myself and I, and other scientifically minded people for a great event in Orlando, Florida, from the 25th of August through the 28th of August of this year. So anyhow, you can check it out. Now, if you want, if you missed some of this stuff or you want more information on any of this, you can go to spiritualimageproductions.com, spiritualimageproductions.com. On the right-hand side, there's a place where you can sign up for the email list to keep abreast of everything that's going on with Andrew Aloha, myself, and I, in Spiritual Image Productions. And then on the left-hand side, there's a link that says Andrew Aloha Live, which you can click on that, and that'll take you to the page I'm on right now. It'll give you information about Melissa Risdon, who is here tonight, also on underwriters and some other stuff going on as well. So now, thank you for stopping by, Melissa. I know you're a busy person, and you just got stuff going on. So what's going on with you? Aloha, you're on the air.
Well, it's fun to be here today. Or tonight, I should say.
I guess we don't know who Melissa Risdon is, or at least a lot of other people don't know who Melissa Risdon is. And so if you can kind of just give an overview, a bio of who you are, where you were born at, and how you grew up, and how things were for you growing up, and then how you got to where you're at now. How's that sound?
Yeah, perfect. Well, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, about 40 minutes south of San Francisco. I'm a California native. I believe it's about a fifth generation on both sides. There's lots of generations that go back on both sides of my family. Had not any sort of childhood that I could relatively complain about or have horror stories with. But I was a people pleaser of a child. So I said yes to a lot of things that I meant no to. I said no to things that I meant yes to. And kind of just tried to find my way the best way that I could, as I think so much of us, growing up, kind of navigate the world. Who am I? Who am I meant to be? Those kinds of things. Well, I had a dream as a child that I was going to grow up, and I was going to get married, and I was going to get a house, and I was going to get a dog, and I was going to have a baby. And it was like, this was what was going to happen with my life. And as so many of us, I think, that are on the spiritual journey and on the path of self-discovery, there's your plan, and then there's what actually happens.
Now, I want to say real quick, a couple of things. First of all, were you like a cheerleader? Did you play volleyball, basketball? What kind of stuff, activities did you do growing up?
I was really athletic. The only time I did cheerleading was in 7th grade. I grew up playing soccer and softball from about 7 or 8 years old. I went to Hillsdale High School. We were CCS championships in California one year. I forget what CCS now stands for, but yeah, we won the championship for our region. We went as far as our school could go. I went to college in San Mateo, to junior college for 2 years. I graduated from San Jose State University.
And what was your major?
I graduated with environmental studies and had a minor in biology.
And what were you planning on doing prior? Actually, you did. You went into corporate America after that, and from there, is that correct?
Right. So I started off with school with a biology major, and it was pretty hard. So my grades were suffering, and so I ended up moving. Just didn't know what I wanted. Didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up, kind of thing. And all my credits fit into environmental studies, so I just kind of settled upon that degree and ended up graduating with it. And I had no idea what it is that I wanted to do. So right after. Years before I graduated college, I got a summer job at a company, and just ended up. I grew up there because I worked there for a couple of years during my time off, and then when I graduated, there was an opening there, so I moved into a company called SAP, where it was like, I was introduced to the company by working at the front desk, and then got a job after college in their legal department, moved into consulting for them. And then just moved on to different other companies and had a really successful, good career in corporate America.
Got it. And so that I guess that's what's leading up to your coaching program. But before we go into that, I want to let you know. I don't know. Have you ever heard of a woman by the name of Dolores Cannon?
No.
She's a woman that did hypnosis. And somewhere down the road, she all of a sudden alien people started contacting her through some of her clients. But anyhow, she writes about the indigo people, and there's 3 ways of them: the older generation, which is probably my generation, and then the new midterm generation, which is like people that are in their 30s or so, and then the generation that's being born now. And these people are kind of what you call hybrid humans that have come here to help this transition of going of planet Earth, the solar system, but planet Earth going through from the age of Aquarius into the Pisces into the age of Aquarius. But either way, a lot of these beings are going to be moving on to other galaxies and other planets. And so what's happening is a lot of them are being they're not being married, they're not going on to have kids, the relationships are short span because they're not, it's helping to stop or prevent extra karma from being created so that way when they're done with this lifetime, they can move on to whatever they're going to do afterwards, to go to whatever galaxy or whatever afterwards. So a lot of people literally aren't marrying, they aren't having kids, their relationships are minimal, so just so that karma won't keep them here otherwise, and won't block them from going on into whatever else afterwards. Does that make sense to you?
Does that make sense, or is that me? What did you say?
No, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I've heard some of that, not all of that before.
Okay. So, and I'm just saying that whatever you're doing, I don't think is necessarily bad or good, or necessarily good, but I don't think it's necessarily bad or whatever. Because there's like the stereotype of what American life should look like. And you have kids, you get married when you're 30s, you have a house, blah blah blah. It's a stereotypical thing. But I'm just saying that because you're not living that same lifestyle doesn't mean that you're not normal. Or whatever's going on. Does that make sense?
No, I mean, I think everything's normal, you know. I mean, if it's not normal, it's not because someone's judging it, that's not normal. But
Exactly,
what's normal to
exactly.
me and what's normal to you, that's what I was going to share. What I was getting to is that, you know, I had this certain dream of what was going to happen, and then life actually happened, and I went through a divorce, and that was, for me, things that you hear it in the, you know, you hear it's a feather, you hear the whisper, if you don't get it, then it's like a brick wall tumbling down kind of thing on you. And for me, my big wake-up call was going through a divorce and being really scared as to, like, who am I and what is it that I want to do. So it was just over 10 years ago that I really started getting involved in self-discovery, started healing past wounds, you know, finding my voice. And it's just evolved. That journey has kind of, I would say, the journey's always been there, but it's been more of a conscious effort since then. And, you know, just my own biggest learning has been, you know, learning to like myself, learning to love myself. And that's really something that I found myself being passionate about, of helping people, you know, love who they are and enjoy their own company, because we're with ourselves 24/7.
So did you, before the divorce, did you already have this knack for, or did you, I think the question is, did you realize that you had this knack for wanting to help people prior to?
Well, I did in the sense that it showed up as a people pleaser. And so I wanted to make people happy. I mean, for instance, when this all happened, and this was, you know, it was a long time ago. I think it was actually, if I actually do the math, it was more like closer to 14 years ago, something like that. But it's just one turning point in many. And I remember, you know, someone saying to me that life's about having a relationship with yourself. And at that point, you know, 14 years ago, I was like, what in the world are you talking about? So it was really just kind of, it was significant in the sense that I feel like it was my wake-up call.
Right.
And so for that, I'm extremely, you know, I think everybody has, you know, kind of moment where their journey becomes a conscious one. And something's happened that pushes you in more of a direction of really being true to yourself.
Got it. And so, so after the divorce, that's when things started culminating in forming in terms of the direction where you're at now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, and it's been definitely a journey. I mean, it wasn't, you know, it was years later that my kind of spiritual awakening began. You know, first it was just kind of the personal development, understanding who I am, you know, what it is that what do I like, what do I don't like, what's my love language, what are other people's love languages, why do I get along with some people and why do I not get along with other people. And then, you know, over the years it just slowly and gradually began growing, and, you know, my spiritual awareness just started coming along with it. Like 10 years ago, if you'd shared with me anything that you just did a few moments ago, I would have thought you were insane. And now it's like I get it and I understand it and I believe it, and I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And it's for us to really kind of understand why things are happening to us, what is it that we're meant to learn from it, and how to grow as a person.
Got it. So what were some of the steps that you took to get onto the path that you're on now? Right? I mean, I don't know if it was immediately right after the divorce or it was a few months, few years before after the divorce.
Well, I don't want us to dwell on the divorce. It was just one thing that I was in the middle. I was just kind of sharing the steps.
Yeah.
You know, I also went to a ton of Tony Robbins events, which was amazing in itself. I did therapy, which was amazing in itself. I invested money in myself. I got coaches. But to ask, you know, one of the things that was, I think, such a huge turning point, and you know, one of many things, but there's one of the things that it's one of the first things I always recommend to people, because it was something that was so life-changing for myself, is that I was on a call with a coach, and she said, you know, she was like, where are you? And I'm like, you know, I'm in the den, and she's like, go in front of the mirror. So on the phone, I go up and I go in front of the mirror. She's like, take a look at yourself. And she's like, I want you to repeat these words after me. Look in your eyes and say, I love and accept you exactly as you are. And so I said it, and I felt nothing. And then she said, now you can either put the phone down or you can keep it up again. Doesn't matter. She goes, but say it to yourself and mean it. 10 times in a row. And so I started saying it. And it's amazing the amount of emotions that I went through. And I mean, how many seconds does it take to actually say that 10 times? You know, it's about 10 to 15 seconds, and you're going to get it all out. But it was life-changing in the sense of I had never said that to myself, and I felt sadness, and I felt happiness, and I felt hope, and I felt regret. And I felt just this huge amount of different emotions because I was sad because I had never heard that. I was sad because I had never said that to myself. But I was also happy because I could see that I was changing and that I was growing because I had the courage to say this to myself. And then I saw, hope that it's like, okay, it was like a glimpse of the future. Things can change and things can progress. And that's one of the things that I feel like I preach it to people, that self-mirror talk. I think it's so important. And now it is years later. I mean, I don't see my reflection without saying I love you to the woman that I see back. And it doesn't matter if my makeup's on and my hair is done, or if I feel fat, or if I feel beautiful. I say it because I need to hear it at every moment.
Absolutely.
And so I tell it to myself all the time. And I think that that's something that is like, if that's the one thing that people hear me will do differently in their lives, like, that just would touch me because I think it changes who you are, because I think underneath everything there's these innate fears that we come with, that it's like, or a lot of people do, that it's like, am I enough, am I lovable? And I think underneath everything is am I lovable? I think that is one of our human experiences. All the people I talk to,
in asking, am I lovable, is that the same as asking, am I teachable?
Are you asking me that, or are you making that as a statement?
No, I am. I'm asking you.
So say it again. I didn't quite understand.
When you ask, am I lovable, is that the same thing as asking, am I teachable?
Well, I say that in a sense of, Tony Robbins shares that there's two primary questions that people ask. So underneath any fear that somebody has or issues, if you drill down, it's like, for example, if you drill down low enough to the bottom of the fears, it's something around like, am I enough or am I lovable? And it's not that people go around asking themselves consciously, am I lovable? Like when I drill down to mine, I was asking, why doesn't anybody love me? So it's connected to the feeling of love and how it shows up for different people. It's going to show up differently for you than for others. And so that was mine, like buried way down in the unconscious. Was why doesn't anybody love me? Well, the truth of the matter is there were tons and tons and tons of people in my life that loved me, but me feeling it and me feeling loved wasn't in the same experience as people loving me. And so that was my specific journey, and that was my lesson to learn, that I am lovable and that I am enough and I'm good and I'm whole and I'm complete. And all of that really has stemmed from my relationship with myself and me learning to constantly share with myself, I love myself.
Got it. And so what are other steps that you took for that process to happen, to understand that, to believe in that, to breathe that, to be that?
Right. There's that one, and then I don't know if you know about the 5 love languages. That's something that you ever discussed on your show.
No. What's this again?
It's called the 5 love languages. It's by a gentleman, Dr. Gary Chapman, and he was someone that was a marriage and family therapist. I couldn't put that up there. And he noticed that couples would come in and one person in the relationship would say, well, I know that she loves me, and I know that she loves me because X, Y, and Z, and she does these things for me. And the other person would say, like, well, I have no idea if they love me because they never do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And so we started looking and analyzing as these couples. There were certain couples that felt loved by each other, and there were certain couples that didn't. And he started to take a look at it and look at just like if somebody speaks Japanese, and in Japanese they say, I love you. but the other person only understands German, does it not mean that the one person doesn't love the other person? And it's like, no, it's just that you don't understand the language. So the key to relationships and feeling loved in a relationship is learning each other's love language. And so he has a great book called The 5 Love Languages, and you can find it online. Like if you type in the 5 love languages, all his stuff will come up. But the different love language is physical. Like it's what is it that makes you feel most loved? So physical touch, acts of service, gift giving, words of affirmation, quality time. And children are phenomenal ones to actually watch this. The kid that always comes up and hugs you and touches you, most likely their number one love language is physical touch. So they're going to feel most loved with a hand on the shoulder, a hand on the elbow. We all have those friends that they just do stuff for us. They'll go to the store for us, they'll go shopping for us, they'll make phone calls for us. Like they are somebody that is acts of service. People who love to give gifts. And most likely most people give the love language that they want to receive. So, for instance, gift giving is not a strong love language of mine. So if you buy me, in the past, if you had bought me a gift, I would appreciate it and I would be cordial, but it wasn't something that lit me up. But I have a niece who lights up whenever you buy her a gift. Whether it's a gift that's worth 5 cents or $500, she lights up because that's her love language. She feels most love when someone gives her something, somebody's thought of her. I have another friend that just always feels like people even say it, like they give you the clues. Like she's like, it was so good spending time with you. I'm so glad that we got to connect. It was so good not having any distractions and still have some great conversations. She's a total quality time person. And so for me, I want people that I love to feel love. And I don't want to give you what I want to give you. I want to give you what it is that makes you feel love. And so that book was another one that I thought was amazing. I think it's something phenomenal to learn because you'll understand why maybe you only felt love from your father and not your mother because your father spoke your love language and your mother didn't. Or I could feel completely loved by your parents, but nobody else in the family. So it's a great language to really learn and be self-aware of why did I feel loved by some people. Because the people that speak your love language you feel most loved by. And then I think the key is to really learn the other languages so that if somebody says in Japanese, I love you, you can also learn that, wow, I'm saying I love you and I appreciate it.
Got it. So, how long was this program with the Tony Robbins program?
We've got tons of different programs. We've got like a 3 or 4 day event called Unleash the Power Within. That's usually a lot of the ones that people start with. We've got a year-long program that there's like a weekend called Wealth Mastery. So it's all, and I say weekend, it's really about 5 days, 4 or 5 days. It's all about understanding your relationships with wealth. We have a health one, and then we also have a week-long one called Date with Destiny, which is discovering your purpose and who you are and what makes you tick. And so we've got tons of different programs, and I went through all of them. I joined in all of the leadership programs. I'm what you call a senior leader in in his company, it's a volunteer position, and I get to go to events and help with some of the people behind the scenes of just leading people through the changes in the process.
Got it. So, and I'm assuming that you're actively working with clients on in that program. Is that what I hear you saying?
I'm actively working with clients on what program?
Are you doing like some of these classes or workshops that you did with other people? So now are you doing those programs with other people? Are you coaching some of these clients and stuff with the Tony Robbins program?
Well, I'm not a coach for Tony Robbins. He has people at his company that he's hired for coaches. But I mean, I think with anything, you walk away and you take what it is that works for you and you lose the rest. So I would definitely say his teaching has a strong influence on me and on myself and on my life, and definitely will show up when I'm coaching people, but it's also, you know, I take my own spin on it.
Got it. And so have you also taken other workshops or done other workshops or presentations or whatever that are similar to what or the same as what Tony Robbins has been putting out there as well?
I've been at tons and tons of stuff. I've never seen anything else that's like what he does.
Okay, so yeah.
I think what he does is just it's another level, and he's got his own. I mean, which one of the reasons why millions of people follow him and enjoy him. You know, he definitely has some unique teachings that's really special and really life-changing.
Got it. Because I've gone across some of his programs. And I haven't really done any of the coaching stuff, but you know, I've worked with some of the audios and stuff like that years and years ago.
Yeah, great places to start.
Yeah, and there's some interesting stuff in there going on. I tell you what, let's take a breather right now, and then I want to come back and go deeper into this in terms of what you mean by your love of self. I want to go and go from there. So what I want to do is I want to play some music, a song called Parakram Radhe Sharam by Govindas and Radham from their album. Again, I don't know why I keep forgetting it. Divine Mantras, I think it's called something like that. But anyhow, I want to send out love, blessings, healing, angels of light and love to everyone here in the chat rooms and the phone lines, all our family and friends, to all our vehicles and places of residence, and to all our jobs, believe it or not, that help keep us going and keep us out there, and to all our clients and customers and fans and whatever else as well. To all the kids and the animals and the plants on the planet, especially the ones you need concern, to the President of the United States, his family, to all those people running for office this year and their families, and to all the coaches, the mentorings, the mentors, all those people out there looking to help people make a difference, as well as to all their clients. Why not? Anybody you want to add to that as well? Melissa?
No, sorry, I'm not prepared for giving thanks to people.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And the name of the album is Lunar Mantras. I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of that. But anyhow, so we'll go ahead and send out love, blessings, healing, angels, light, love to everyone else in need and concern. And we'll be back. And if there's anybody in the chat room that wants to ask any questions, we'll open up the questions. And let me know. If not, we'll just keep going deeper with your love of self. So Parakram Radhe Sharam by Govindas and Radha from their album Lunar Mantras, and we'll be back in a few. So here we go. So, what are you doing? Okay, we will be back. Anytime now. Okay.
To join the subconference, press number of cell conference from 1 to 4, or press star to return to the conference. To join the subconference, press number of subconference from 1 to 4, or press star to return to the conference. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host.
To start your show now.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now. This service is provided. Access code accepted. This conference is being recorded.
And we're, excuse me, we're back. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona, with Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio and freeconferencing.com, and now Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships with human values. And I want to apologize because earlier, several weeks ago, for literally a year and a half, 2 years, some idiot just would come in and disconnect us and cut us off. I'm pretty sure they were from Blog Talk, and then finally I called them on it, and they finally stopped doing it for a long time, and then now they're back. They're doing it again. So we're again. I don't know. Maybe this idiot never had people. Their parents love them when they were growing up or something like that, and so now they get the jollies by acting and behaving the way they're behaving right now with this kind of activity. So anyhow, we're here with Melissa Risdon, all the way out of California, talking about your love of self, and we've talked about her growing up in California, and being very active in growing up and going to college, and then getting married, and then discovering herself after the marriage, or actually after the divorce. And so I think I bring that up because that was the major breaking point for you, from what I understand, in terms of what leading you to where you're at now. So, I think what I'm saying is, I'm assuming, I'm understanding that's what it took for you to finally become conscious of who you are and really start to appreciate and love yourself, and then that kicked you into working with Tony Robbins and some other groups, I'm assuming, that finally really start to hone in, get you honed in into who you are and what you're all about, and why you're here, what your purpose is here on earth. Is it safe to say that, Melissa?
That's a good, what's the right word? I'm lost.
Assumption?
A good summary.
Okay.
Quick summary.
So, I guess the question is, at what point for you personally, did you finally decide, okay, yeah, I do really love myself and accept myself, and I forgive myself, and I'm ready to breathe and be who I am. I'm ready to be in my power. At what point did that hit for you?
Well, I think it's been an ongoing journey. It's just like with anything. I look at it, an equivalent of working out. You don't go to the gym and do bicep curls for one day and say my biceps are healed or my biceps are great, and I don't ever have to do another push-up in my life. And I think that sometimes is a misconception that people are like, well, I feel love for myself, and I'm done. It's almost like we're on this self-help discovery. And it's like we kind of get to a certain point or a certain experience happens, and it's like there's a kind of a feeling of completion. And I look at it, it's the beginning of another journey. I mean, I can sit and where I was and how I felt the first time I ever felt any sort of love for myself. I can tell you about the time sitting in front of the mirror where it was after that, where somebody was saying, say to yourself in the mirror 10 times in a row, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. And then my homework assignment was, say it 50 times for a week straight and see how it changes. And then, it's been just a journey of constant increasing. And I think the key is that you keep doing it and doing it and doing it until there's the times that it's like, you're still doing it during your lows, and it's not just when you're feeling good, it's also when you're not feeling good. It's when you've gained some weight and you aren't eating healthy and you don't feel so great, that you're still having this constant, I love you, I love you, I love you, where that's really that unconditional love for self.
Right.
That you love yourself even when life isn't perfect.
Right.
Even when you mess up.
So now what I want to do is I want to bring in a caller, area code 210, and they have a hand up for a question. Aloha, area code 210, you're on the air.
Hi, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, who are we talking to, how did you hear about us, and where are you located at?
Okay, I'm gonna go one at a time. What was it again?
What's your name, where are you located at, and how did you hear about us?
Sure, so I just found y'all under the spirituality section. My name is Mike, and I'm in the United States.
Okay, good. Well, okay. So, Mike, did you have a question for Melissa? Go ahead.
I actually had an intuitive question, but as I'm listening, I'm not sure that that's the second show. Second?
Excuse me?
Am I mistaken? Like, can I get the bit of advice?
This is not the psychic show. The psychic show was last Friday. We do it the third Friday of the month. And if you're interested in something more of a private reading, then you can contact me 928-310-1700, 928-310-1700, and we can go from there if you're interested. But right now, we're talking with Melissa Risdon about your love of self. And is there a question that you have for her that you might want to get advice from her, or just about her, or anything else?
Not really, but I would just comment on the fact that in loving oneself, I think is very important. I learned from early on about like self-care and just, loving yourself as who you are.
Got it. And so, okay. So, anything else that you want to ask or say, Mike?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, and I apologize that I wasn't clear that this was not the second show. And we do. I usually have 2 or 3 or 4 people on with me for the second show, and then we all do readings with you, so that you can get some better understanding of what's going on with your life. Does that make sense to you?
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. And then come back and let us know how you're doing. Aloha.
Will do. Thanks.
Okay. So it's been ongoing. This whole process about either learning or understanding or both. The process of loving yourself, of your love of self. And so, I guess, what do you recommend to others, or what, and because you do a coaching program, as we, I don't know that it's called Your Love of Self, but I understand that you do a coaching program, and what's that like for you, and if somebody comes up and says, oh, I did the coaching program with Melissa, what's that like for them to what would they say about you in that program, in doing the program with you?
I don't know what somebody would say. It's not normally when I ask questions. I think, more than anything, that I think I do a really great job of helping people understand, why do they not have the things in life that they want. Almost everybody I talk to, no matter what they come to me with, it ends up to deal something with romantic relationships. And so, more than anything, really help people kind of break through what some of their barriers and what some of their blocks that's preventing them from having the types of relationships. So even if somebody comes to me with money problems or weight problems, it still turns around I don't know if it's intuitively or it's a spiritual guidance, but it always seems to go back to something to do with romantic relationships.
Right, right. And so, what have been some of your coachings that you've done with people? What have been some of the experiences that you've come across that were just prominent in your mind that said, yeah, I know I'm doing this in the right direction, this coaching, or it was I was glad that we were able to resolve this issue because from this coaching program with this person. Does that make sense?
I don't really know how to answer that. I'll be honest with that. I don't really know how to answer that question. I mean, I'm trying to think of stories without disclosing anybody's.
Yeah, you don't have to mention names, of course.
That's a
No,
name share kind of thing. I mean, a lot of people cry around me. I'm somebody that kind of invokes tears and emotions, and so I think if I'm trying to think of somebody specifically, then I think that it's a lot of just people will walk away saying that I feel more comfortable in my skin. I feel more comfortable with who I am. I feel happier with being with me. And even though people may come with wanting something external, I really try to help people, come to trusting themselves, like, learning to expand your intuition and learning to go within instead of always seeking, outward to resolve your problem. And I don't mean like don't go seek help, but I mean that the answer is, a lot of times, I think especially in America, our society is like the answer is external from you, and I really want to help people bring that feeling inward, and so that they can trust themselves, they can rely on themselves, they can be happy and comfortable with their decisions. And if there's certain things that they want to do in their life, they can, come out from behind the curtains and really show the world who they are. And that may be somebody that's someone that's in public and in front of people, or it may just be somebody who is beginning to have the courage to share more of themselves with their family.
Got it. And so I guess, what would that look like? If that came to me, Melissa, and said, hey, I want to do a coaching program with you. I want to find the love of myself. I want to find the love within myself. What would that program look like for me? And like a general program look like for me to work with that and discuss that for myself?
Well, right now, when I shared with you when we talked a few months ago, is that I put some of my one-on-one coaching on hold, and I'm in the process of building a new program that I've not yet launched, but that I want to in the next couple of months. And I would say some of it is going to be similar to the steps that I've shared. That I want people to learn what their love language is, and learn to understand why was it. I mean, so much of things in our lives go back to whoever our parental roles were, and it's not that it's a negative thing or a good or a bad thing. It's just kind of factual that that's where a lot of the issues we have today stem from. So it's a lot of healing. It's learning what your love language is. I'm a huge proponent of being fully and 100% in ownership of your life and your lifestyle. Like, I work very hard with people to let go and move through any sort of victim, of anything that's happening to you or against your will, of really taking ownership and taking pride in that. And so I'm just in the process of really kind of, I took a step back for a little while, and now it's literally just been starting to kind of emerge as to what it is that I really want that to look like moving forward. But I think there's something with the community that you can really thrive off each other.
Good. So it sounds like you're definitely in creative mode, and the baby still hasn't come out, but it's on its way, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's good. And I'm not sure.
And I mean, to answer your question too, it's just, you know, I hesitate to say that X, Y, and Z is what's going to happen, or we do step one, or we do step two, that because with each person, it's, you know, it's individual, that sometimes I work with somebody and everything that we need to first talk about is like the job that they have and the job that they're struggling with, because it's a metaphor for everything else that's going on with their life. Or, you know, with one gal that I had coached, I mean, everything had to do with her being able to feel emotion. You know, that it was like, even though we would talk about something, you know, with one of her kids or with a boyfriend, or if it was, you know, she rode a bike and somebody cut her off. Everything went down to her dealing with and giving herself permission to actually feel her emotions.
Exactly.
So, for, you know, it's even though some of the teachings might be the same, how it's going to show up or manifest with somebody else is really going to be unique and different based on that person. Because it's based on really what it is that each individual truly needs.
Got it. And so out of this, are you planning to write a book for this new program you're getting ready to come out with, launch?
I probably have at least 7 books inside of me. I'm not gonna marry a book to a certain program, but I definitely have a lot of different book ideas.
Well, where are you at? What are you waiting for? Hurry up! I'm waiting for it so I can interview you on it.
Well, I trust in divine timing, and the timing just hasn't been yet quite right.
Yeah, no, exactly. I just wrote the 90-day Ascension journey, and literally I've been waiting I've just been waiting for the right time, and I don't know that I would literally ever get the right time. And I've been waiting like 2 years to write this book, and then finally my guidance said, you got 2 weeks to write this book. I said, what? Are you kidding? I don't have time. I blah, 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 blah. You got 2 weeks. I go, oh man. So I did. I took 2 weeks off from everything that I do, and just sat down and wrote it, and finally finished it up. And then literally on the same day that I finished it, I had to go back to doing all my activities. And so, but then it took me like 4 weeks, 4 weeks to format it, so I could get it up on Amazon and Kindle. So finally I was able to do that, but now that's leading to other steps that I hadn't even thought about. So I'm glad I did, so just at this point it's leading to other steps that I'm going to be working with. So it's kind of like that. So what other stuff haven't you told us about, or you want to put out there concerning your love of yourself, or whatever else is going on with your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is to also really begin that relationship with yourself, where you're really beginning to trust yourself. Trust in your everyday decisions. Should I go, should I turn left or should I turn right? Should I leave 5 minutes early? Should I leave 5 minutes late? I think the universe is constantly communicating to us to move us into where it is that we want to go, or where it is that we're really meant to go. And I think a key part of that is really, learning to listen.
Exactly.
I think a big thing also is that, major emotions that I feel that hold people back are emotions around shame and guilt, and, learning the process to forgive yourself. I think those are some of the things that are some of the hardest things for people to move through.
What's the name? This guy Bradshaw. There's a guy by the name, I think his last name is Bradshaw. Wrote a series of books. One of them was on toxic shame. Did you ever read that book, or do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I've not heard of that one.
I can't remember his name, but years ago I read it, and it was pretty profound. And he really honed in on not just a sect of people here in the United States, but literally the whole United States, and it made me realize that there's 95, 96% of the populace of the United States has been abused in some way, shape, or another, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and yet, and so which has caused a lot of shaming, a lot of guilt, a lot of stuff, because of that, behaviors because of that, and some people have been and are abused even more severely than others. A lot of them are abused to a minimum level, but there's lots of people that are abused to maximum level, which has caused a lot of PTSD, a lot of problems, just a lot in their lives and so forth. So anyhow, that was my conclusion that because of that, there are people that have PTSD. I mean, to me, everybody in the United States has PTSD. If you've ever been abused even once, you have PTSD. I'm sure of it. It may not be severe or maximum like other people are, but I'm sure it's there. And so there are techniques for working with and resolving PTSD. One of them is I went to a film festival in Flagstaff, here in Flagstaff, years ago, and I watched a documentary on I believe it's called foster child syndrome or something like that. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not, but these kids that are in foster homes that are actually they prior to being in a foster home they were severely abused, and I mean and to the point that their behavior is incredibly violent and very just outlandish. And so they used from what they used the therapy with these kids. Again, I think it was called foster care syndrome or foster syndrome. I don't remember, but the therapy and the procedures that they use for working with these kids, literally a lot of them, the same techniques that they use in Tantra were the same. I mean, were similar or the same. Hugging, setting boundaries, nonviolent communication, and so forth. And hug therapy, and they literally just hug the kid, and the kid would be just kicking, screaming, yelling, and then finally they calm down, and then they chill out, a little chill out, and then they finally have a more of an acceptance of themselves, and they feel much more peaceful with themselves. I literally had to do that with a woman years ago who was just in that same boat, and it just worked out that way. Yeah. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but that's what I needed to do. She.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I look at with a lot of people too. It's like we learn how to treat ourselves based on the relationships that we're surrounded by as a child. So if you're in a physically abusive relationship, with an adult or a parent, or a verbally abusive, then that is how you learn how to treat yourself. And so a lot of times people, they weren't ever physically hit, but maybe they were verbally abused, and they grow up and in their adult life, they're verbally abusive to themselves nonstop.
Exactly.
We don't sometimes realize how much we talk to ourselves. I mean, how many times we heard somebody go like, "Oh my God, that's so stupid! I can't believe I did that. It's so dumb." They guilt and shame themselves. And so even though they're no longer in any sort of abusive relationship, quote unquote, they are, because they're treating themselves that way.
Got it. So and we still got 25 minutes. Is there anything else you want to put out there that we haven't talked about, or whatever's going on? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I think is good to talk about too is that I really believe everything happens for a reason. I think that we're spiritual beings and we're having a human experience, and I think it's really easy to take a look at things outside of us and not think it has anything that's connected to us. I mean, I lately have just, like I said, I think it's a process, and I've been working on this stuff for years, but recently I felt that there was guilt that kept coming up. I felt myself, like I felt that I was self-sabotaging on some things, and I kept feeling like guilty, and it was fascinating because I was kind of watching it from a third party, that I'm like, why is this emotion of guilt coming up? Like, I've done trying to work on this, you know, there's really nothing that I'm feeling guilty about, but I'm just noticing like these little kind of twinges of guilt. And so just started, you know, noticing it and doing some practices that I do to help kind of clear it and release it. And then, I don't know if you follow Louise Hay, and if you look at, she has a book called Feel Your Body, and so it looks at, you know, what are physical ailments that are on your body, and what might that mean? Well, I got a spider bite on my face that turned into an infection, and it was amazing. I don't remember exactly what it was, I'll look it up here on my phone. I got a spider bite, and so I was like, well, let's take a look. You know, what is it that a bug bite means in her little book? And it was cool to kind of take a look at, because I'm really trying to embrace in a more, you know, deeper way that what's happening to me it is to learn from, is to heal from. So let me look at this real quick.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, the name of the book that I was talking about is called Healing Machine That Binds You, Recovery Classics Edition by John Bradshaw. Very amazing, just information that's in there. So it helped me discover a lot of stuff about myself, but also about and what happens is some of these shames that happen that are toxic happen from generation to generation over a period of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 generations, and it's been going on for generations, and nobody's been able to break away from it or free themselves from that. And eventually people do that, do break away from that type of shaming. But sometimes it's not for 3 or 4 or 5 generations that somebody finally does, and breaks the pattern and breaks the, you know, whatever's going on. So.
Right. I mean, I look at it that, you know, if you're listening to stuff, if you're growing and you're learning and you're healing yourself, then you're the generation that's breaking it.
Exactly.
You know, you're the generation. You've chosen this journey to experience whatever it is that you're experiencing, so that it can heal, and you know, you can heal it for more than just yourself. You can heal it for generations back. You can heal it for lifetimes past, and you know, move forward. I think that that's a lot of the energy that's happening, which I think why there's so many people that are embracing spirituality, that are embracing their intuition, you know, that are wanting to connect more with psychic abilities.
Exactly. Now, and with that in mind,
healing that's happening.
Are you considering? Are you consider or acknowledge or how would you say, bring into the mentoring program the notion of past life?
Yeah, I personally believe in past lives.
I mean, and I'm not saying.
I phrase it that way, and I personally believe it because I know as time has gone on, my beliefs have changed. So I share with people what I believe, but I don't expect other people to believe that. I think that you really have to discover what it is that you believe and what works for you.
Exactly. And I think that's a key to a lot of understanding about yourself and about the love within yourself. It has to do with understanding patterns and cycles that are not going on with your life in this lifetime, but also other lifetimes from prior to, and you can even tap into the future lifetimes. But I think mostly it's deriving from past lifetimes and this lifetime as well. That and once you understand those patterns, and a lot of it has to do with that understanding to begin with. Once you understand those patterns and cycles, then it allows you to move forward and let go of the guilt, the shame, all the abuse that's been there for whatever reasons. So I mean, you said you were looking something up. Did you find that?
Oh yeah, I found it right when I that I just give me a second. You know, just I'm starting to be in a place of, you know, what are these different little signs that are sharing with me. And so I was sharing that, you know, this emotion of guilt was coming up, and I looked at it like, okay, it's just a deeper level of clearing, it's a deeper level of forgiveness. And then I got cracked up that when I looked up on the Louise Hay Heal Your Body, it says the problem is bug bites, and it says guilt over small things.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I'm glad you told me that. Well, no, it's funny because I think this morning or yesterday I too was bit by a spider. I'm sure of it on my stomach, and so maybe I had some kind of guilt or going on with the foods that I'm eating or whatever. I don't know, but maybe so. That's interesting that you would say that. So now I know.
And I think, you know, it's things that I'm really big into manifesting. I think that, you know, what vibration we're at is really the reflection of what, you know, throughout our life. And so like when Trey says that the new thought is that I'm free of all irritation, all is well. And it's, you know, imagine a life where you are free of all irritation and all is well.
Yeah.
It's a lighter life.
So now, so with that in mind, you could even take that a step further and look at it from the Native American point of view. And a spider has to do with transformation, you know, because you have, you know, something, a lot of times when different animals or different, you know, whatever, the lower species, cross your path, and I don't want to say lower, but different, insects, where it crosses your path, then they have different meanings that have to do with what's going on in your life. And so a spider typically means transformation, I believe. So maybe with the spider bite on my stomach, it means that I'm getting ready to go through a transformation, or am going through a transformation with my food habits, my eating habits. So that might be, you know, what's going on with that. And then,
right.
And I guess what you're saying is there's some kind of guilt thing that I have going on that I need to look at for my eating habits or whatever.
And I think key is also, I think one of the things I definitely talk about, you know, training with people is that you have to learn to deal with what it is that resonates with you. You know, if I'm talking about, you know, if I'm talking about here with this bug bites and it means guilt, like that completely resonated with me at a soul level. But with somebody else, it might be like, you know, no, that's not what it is that it means for me. And I think that's the most important thing to pay attention to.
Exactly.
You know, what is it? Learning, you know, what it is that feels right, what feels positive in your body, what feels negative. You know, like we've all met people that it's like, you know, we meet somebody, we don't know them, but there's an instantaneous liking. Like there's almost like you want to lean in, want to learn more. You know, that's your physical body giving you sensations and giving you information and giving you communication that, you know, this is a yes, this is a feel good, this is a move forward with. And it also goes in the other direction. You know, we have those, you know, our intuition, it's there and it's always speaking to us, and it's just learning to pay attention to it. We've all had that experience where sometimes we make eye contact with a stranger that we're walking down the street with, and there is just kind of a heebie-jeebie, icky feeling, and it's like those are things that you need to pay attention to. And I think our body is always communicating things. You know, if food is something that you're dealing with, then it's like, what is it that your body's craving? Like sugar is a big thing for me that I'm giving up, and I know it's emotionally connected. So it's paying attention. You know, if when I get frustrated, is that when I want something that's sweet? Is it when I feel sad? You know, or when all of a sudden, if I'm not paying attention, all of a sudden I want to go and eat a cookie, then it's like, wait, pause. How am I feeling? What am I feeling? What is it that I'm looking for? Because there's things I think that in all different ways, the universe is trying to help us move through whatever it is that we're meant to move through to get to the next level. And by next level, it might just be, you know, the next tiny bit of learning that we need to go through. And so I think it's just being aware and paying attention as to what's happening with you.
Exactly.
And, you know, paying attention to, you know, especially with something like the sweets and the sugars and stuff. But it's like, am I avoiding something, or do I really need this?
Exactly. No, I mean, yeah, even earlier, I was coming back from Phoenix, and I grabbed a donut, and every once a week I'll eat a donut, if even that. But I ate about half of it, and I couldn't even eat the other half because I just really wasn't craving sugar. So I just put it down and just left it there. So, so how do you know that what, I guess, how do you know whether you're loving yourself correctly or the right amount or not?
Well, I don't think it's something that you can screw up. I don't think it's something that you do it the right way or the wrong way. I kind of look at it as, are you doing it? If you're somebody that has never said once I love you to yourself, and you text yourself once a week saying I love you, then you're doing it right. That it's like, if you're doing it, you're doing it right. And sure, can you always increase it? Yeah. And I think that an easy way for people to fail is to put unrealistic expectations on themselves. And so I look at it as, if you never say it to yourself, maybe just do a commitment. I'm going to say it to myself 3 times tomorrow. I'm going to remember it 3 times and say it. And then at the end of the day, celebrate that you did it. And if you didn't do it 3 times and only did it once, celebrate that you did it once. Or introduce a new habit into your life, That it's like every morning when you brush your teeth, you're going to say it. Like brushing your teeth, we all do it twice, It's recommended that we do it twice a day. The majority of us do it in front of the mirror. It's a fabulous time to do it. And just remembering when you're brushing your teeth and you see your toothbrush going back and forth, and it's like, oh yeah, this is when I heard that lady say, or I heard somebody say, it's time to say I love you.
Got it.
So I think it's something that it's a journey. I say it to myself way more, now than I did even a year ago. Because I had an experience last summer. I wasn't feeling so great. I didn't understand why I wasn't feeling so great. I watched a YouTube video that I felt drawn to, and in it, the gentleman in the video said, "Your job is to say I love you." And then literally for 5 minutes into a microphone to a group of people, he said it. I love you. I love you. I love you. And so when I was stressed out, I was waking up in the middle of the night, and I decided instead of stressing out, that I'm going to try this. And so I'm going to say I love you. I love you.
Exactly.
Because I needed that. I needed that at that time. And even just this last year, I can judge and say it was one of the more stressful years for lots of different reasons, and yet it was a year that I have felt more joy than ever. And that really stems from the constant practice, the healing. It's like we're encouraged to exercise, we're encouraged to eat healthy, and I think that this is also like your spiritual food. What is it that people are after? It's like when you want to write a book, or if people want to be wealthy, if they want to help people, it's like there's usually a feeling or emotion that people are really after when you drill down to it. It's like, well, I want to make money so I can buy a house. Well, why is it that you want to buy a house? I want to buy a house because I want to feel safety. Well, why is it that you want to feel safety? Well, it drill down. It's like, because I want to feel happiness. I want to feel freedom. There's usually something that we're chasing. There's a goal. And I look at it like, just start feeling that way that you want to feel now. Don't necessarily wait for that end result to happen, so that when I finally pay off my debt, then I'll feel grateful. When I finally buy that dream home of mine, then I'll feel so happy. When I meet that man or that woman of my dreams, I'll just feel so safe and satisfied. And it's like, if those are the feelings and the emotions that you are craving, or that you are chasing, or that you are after, I say give yourself permission to bring them into your life today. And I can say that, I realized that I was like, I want to build a successful business because I want to feel joy and happiness every day that I'm helping people.
Exactly.
So instead of waiting to have this very successful business, I was like, I'm going to start feeling joy and happiness now. And so even when I went through a tough spot, I was like, the weirdest feeling. So I'm like, this is, quote unquote stressful, but I'm happy. I'm joyful. I'm enjoying myself, and I'm just moving through it, and not moving through it that it's a stress level of 10 and I'm miserable, and my health is affected. But really, just like, wow, this is just a point.
Exactly. So now, have you ever heard of Christy Marie Sheldon?
Yes, I have. I know her very well. I work for her.
You work for her?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
I help her out with events. I went to Hawaii with her last year at a private event that she had with a small group of people. I'm heading with her again in April.
Are you talking about the Awesome Fest?
No, Awesomeness Fest is a different event. This is her own personal event.
Oh, really? Tell her I want to go on that event with you guys. So
it's already all sold out, so maybe
go
around.
Whatever. Okay, fine. No, she does a lot of clearings. Works with working clearings with shame and guilt and all that stuff. And she I've been working with her stuff for at least 3 or 4 years now, well, maybe even 5. I have a program called Unlimited Abundance that I've been literally, I play 24/7 for like at least 3 years or so minimum. So and I've connected with her a number of times, and anyhow she in her program, she's got a system that she uses by a guy by the name of David Hawkins. And I can't remember I'm trying to find it now, but I can't remember what the name of it is. But in this system, it's a rating system of different energies, of different words. For example, and it's like from 1 to 1,000. For example, hate would be like 100, anger would be 150, and love is 500. But she also has there's also I think the most highest rating that you can have highest rated energies that you can work with is our gratitude. So I think what I'm saying is that love, it's good to connect with love, and because that'll help you program you into a higher vibration. I think that's what we're talking about. That will allow you to let go of the lower vibrations and be in your power as a higher vibration instead of as a lower vibration. So I think I don't know if. Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, did you ever sit down and forgive yourself for all the stuff that's gone on in your life that you didn't feel right about?
Yeah, and I mean, and I think like it's a process that it's like you go as deep as you can, and then you move forward with your life, and then there's something else that happens that triggers emotions. Like I was saying with my guilt, like I used to feel guilty all the time and used to run myself with that emotion, and I would have told you 2 months ago that it was like, wow, that's just not something that I feel anymore. It's not how I live my life. But it's been a great gift because this whole month and the end of February, all of a sudden, all these things with guilt have come up. And I've been doing, a lot of the things that I taught myself, things that I've learned from Christy and other people to heal and release and let go of that because I was ready energetically for another level of releasing.
Got it. And
it's also like, I don't think it's something that it's like, I don't want to say that it's not that you're ever done, because I think at some point you release so much that you've raised your vibration. But that is like, we're also having a human experience and feeling and having life. So it's like, we're still going to be able to feel stuff. I just find that, new experiences come up and, hey, wow, there's something else for me to clear. There's something else for me to move through.
Got it.
And now I think a lot of it that it's fun.
Oh, absolutely. And once you get past all the gunk and all the mud and all the the noxious stuff, then it does. You start to become creative, productive, and then working with people that are supportive of your efforts, and of course you turn around and support them. So it really starts to get really interesting and much more liberating and empowering. Absolutely, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So anyhow, one of the other things, and I know what you're talking about, because I've taken those steps to forgive myself, to tell myself I love myself, you know, that to tell Andrew Aloha that I love him because I appreciate him, and I know that there's a lot that he has to offer, that's supportive of other people and creative and productive. So the other thing that I've taken time to do is to also be thankful. And again, gratitude and was like the highest vibration at 750. So I've taken time to be thankful for the stuff and everything in my life, and even the stuff that I didn't like and appreciate, because that also taught me to different things of different aspects of life, of things that I needed to understand and know so I can move forward as well. So it all kind of worked out. If that makes sense to you. Does that make sense?
And I just find, from my own personal experience and my own journey, is just that the more that I do, the more that I have fun with it, and just the more I let go of things, like the happier and more joyful of a person I am. And for the most part, I think even 10 years ago, people wouldn't have met me until I'm a happy, joyful person. The layers just keep getting deeper and more profound. And,
exactly. You become more defined.
Spirituality grows. Yeah, it's just, I think so much of it, the journey is coming home to the true you. And wherever you're at is perfect. It's just that, you just need to start and continue moving forward so that
so now,
where you want to be.
I found the scale. It's called the Alpha Point. It's by Omega. It's called the Ultimate Conscious Alpha Point rating system. And they have enlightenment as 700 pieces, 600 joy, 540 love, 500 reasoning, 400 acceptance is 350, willingness 310, and then at the bottom is shame at 20, guilt at 30, apathy 50, and then grief at 75, and fears is 70. And there's others, but those are some of the things that people can look at in terms of really, working with themselves. How am I feeling today? Am I feeling courageous, or that I'm at a 200 alpha point level? Am I being all that I can be? Am I in my willpower? Then I'm being breathing enlightenment, which is at 700 or whatever, but it's like that. But that's a way too that people can go gauge themselves in terms of how their own developmental process, and it is. People don't understand that life is, in the way that we know it here on Earth, is an absolute developmental process. And so it's just a matter of time before you come into your power and stay in your power, live and breathe in your power, and be the love that you are, and always have been and always will be. So, it's like that. So I'm going to thank you, Melissa, for stopping by and sharing your expertise with us and your just yourself and sharing your love with us. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I enjoyed being on here. It's fun to share.
Good. So I want to thank everybody else for being here. Have a God-Goddess week. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha.